Hello guys, welcome to our session. I'd like today to revise with you for the monthly test that will be tomorrow, okay? Here the first question, let's begin with the first question. Let the limit f of x when x approaches to negative 6 equal 9. And limit g of x when x approaches to negative 6 equal 8. Find the limit of the quotient f of x over g of x when x approaches to negative 6. We use the property of limit. The limit of function divide by another function, it will be limit the first divide limit the second function, or by another way, the changes have been done with the function, we will do it with its limit. So it will be limit f of x when x approaches negative 6 over limit g of x when x approaches to negative 6. So it will be 9 over 8. Please remember the properties of limit. That is the first question. For the second question, let f of x when x approaches to negative 9 and limit g of x when x approaches to negative 9 equal 10. Find limit f of x multiply g of x when x approaches to negative 9. What is the change has been done on these two functions, their product. So limit product of two functions when x approaches to a given value, it will be the product of their limit. The limit of the first function multiply the limit of the second function, it will be negative 10. I think it's so easy. Just apply the properties of the limit. Here, find the limit if it exists. Here, I find the limit of what? Rational function. I have to follow the 3 steps as I showed you before in this session. The first step I have to follow, it will be substitute in the numerator and in the denominator replace each x by 0. It will be x to power 3, it means 0 to power 3, it will be 0. 12 multiply 0 to power, it will be 0. Every term in the numerator, it will be 0. And here, 0. Undetermined value, so the limit exists. That is called undetermined what? Value. Limit what? Exist. But to find this limit, I have to redefine the function in step 2. Redefining the function, maybe I'll use dividing out technique or rationalizing technique. Since both of the function in the numerator polynomial and in the denominator monomial or polynomial, okay, in this case, I use dividing out technique, which means factorize, then cancel the common factor between the numerator and denominator, or use long division. But in this case, it's easier for you to use the common factor. Factorizing. The first step I have to think of it when we factorize is the common factor. If we have to take the common factor first. In this case, as you see in the numerator, we have x as a common factor. So, find the bracket after we take x as a common factor, it will be x to power 2. Okay, then plus, divide each term here by x. Okay, it will be 12x minus 5. And the denominator already is factorized, x multiply 5. Factorizing, it means express this expression as a product of two quantities. Here, as you see, we have a common factor between numerator and denominator, which makes the denominator equal 0. It will be here, divide 5x, it will be 5, divide x, it will be 1. That is mean x multiply the bracket. So, what is the new numerator? It will be x squared plus 12 x minus 5 over 5. That is the redefining function. Third step, as I told you, it what? Limit the given function, limit f of x, which is the given function. When x approaches 0, it will be like the limit of its redefining function, x squared plus 12x minus 5 over 5 when x approaches 0. To find the value of this limit, I told you before, in step 1, I substitute in the original function. The second step, redefine. Maybe I use any one of the two techniques which I showed you before. Third step, I have to substitute in the redefining function to find what the limit of the given function. Here, if we replace by 0, it will be 0, 0 minus 5 over 5, so the result it will be negative 1. That is the answer of question part A, okay, in question 3. I hope you understand. Please watch it, try to solve the problem, pause the video and solve the problem, then check your answer, okay? For the second question, please, part B and part C, it's so trivial. I have to follow the same steps. I have to substitute first because maybe from step number 1, I will not need step 2 and step 3. The first step, substitute, it will be here x to 10 to power 2, it will be 100 minus what? 100 over, replace in denominator, it will be 10, each x by 10 minus 10, it will be 0 over 0. Undetermined value, limit exists, I need to redefine the function. Since both numerator and denominator are polynomial or monomial or binomial, okay, in this case I use dividing out technique, which means I can use long division or factorize and cancel. The first step, do you have any common factor in the numerator? Do you have any common factor? No. So I'll check. We have binomial different represent difference between two squares. It will be x minus 10, x plus 10. I think all of you know how to factorize this one, and you can use the calculator, use mod 53 to factorize the numerator. The denominator doesn't need to factorize. It is already in the sums form, doesn't need to factorize. Now, as you know, I have to cancel the factor which repeated or appear in numerator and denominator, and which make the denominator 0. If you replace 10 minus 10, it will be 0. I cancel the factor which make the denominator 0. So, the redefining function, it will be x plus 10. Limit the given function, which I name it f of x, this is all of this function, f of x. Okay, when x approaches 10, it will be like a limit of its redefining function when x approaches to the same value, which is 10. Replace here, as I told you, substitute in the first step, and the last step, or the third one, in the redefining function. It will be 10 plus 10, it will be 20. I think it's clear now, okay? For the last problem, or problem part C, okay, as I follow also the 3 steps. Maybe from step 1 I will not continue step 3, as I'll show you in the following question. Here, I replace in numerator, replace in denominator, it will be square root 25 minus 0, it will be square root 25. Okay, minus 5 over 0, it will be 0 over 0, undetermined value. So I need to redefine the function. But in this case, I will write the function as you see, 25 minus x minus 5 over x. In this case, I have to use the conjugate. Since the numerator in this rational function, as you see, Okay, this numerator non-polynomial, I have to multiply, use rationalizing technique, multiply both numerator and denominator by the conjugate. What is the meaning of conjugate of the numerator? I write the numerator as you see here. In a state of minus, I will write here plus, okay, 5. As we multiply the numerator, I multiply the denominator. Please focus and follow the steps. Here, that is the, understand? In this case, I will find the product of, I'll find the product of the expression and its conjugate. As I told you before, here a square minus b square equal a minus b multiply a plus b, if you remember. If we have this form, we can convert to the other form, the difference between two squares, or we have difference between two squares. It will be as a product of two bracket as you see. Okay? In this case, I have the factors or the product of the two bracket. I have to convert to be in the this form, okay, this what form? Squaring the first term, as you know, squaring here, it means squaring this one, it means what? It will cancel the square root. It will be 25 minus x, as I showed you in the session. Minus here, that is in this form, okay? 5 square, it will be 25, because one friend that she told me, Miss, why we don't write positive 5? No, because to return back to this form, it will be squaring first minus squaring second. And keep press the denominator here, which the product of the other two expression who are not conjugate to each other as a product. I keep it as what? Product, okay? What here? Square root 25 minus x plus 5, okay? I keep it as it is. I have to simplify the numerator. Here 25 was negative 25. What is the new numerator? Negative x. Here I have to simplify the new numerator with the denominator. I'll cancel, it will be what? Divide negative x, it will be negative 1. Divide x, it will be what? Negative 1. Sorry, positive 1. I'm sorry, it will be what? 1. Understand? So, write the new numerator, it will be negative 1. New denominator, it will be square root 25 minus x plus 5. Okay, then write limit the given function, which I'll limit f of x to save the time when x approaches 0, as the limit of its what? Redefining function, which is negative 1 over square root 25 minus x plus 5. When x approaches what? 0. As I told you in third step, I have to what? Substitute in the redefining function to find the limit of the given function. It will be negative 1 if you use the calculator over 5 plus 5 with x 0, it will be 10, it will be negative 1 over 10. I think it's so easy. Watch the videos of this lesson before you solve this revision sheet, okay? Now page 2. Here, as you see, I told you many times, the first step I have to follow to find the limit of any rational function is what? Substitute. Here it will be 1 over, here negative 2 plus 2, it will be 1 over 0, undefined value. So the limit is what? Does not exist. As I told you, from step 1, maybe I get the result, maybe number, if I will get a number, undefined, it will be what? If it is what? Undefined, okay, the limit does not exist, okay, here. For For the last question, I think it's so trivial. By the same way, I'm sorry, step 1, step 2, step what? 3. So trivial. I substitute, it will be 25. 5 square 25 minus 25 over 5 minus 5, it will be 0 over 0 undetermined and a determined value. So limit exists, redefine. How to redefine polynomial or binomial? By any way, it's kind of polynomial. In this case, I factorize the numerator x minus 5 plus 5. Here x minus 5. Okay, then cancel the common factor, which will be x plus 5. I think it's so easy. Limit f of x. When x approaches 5, it will be limit the redefining function when x approaches 5. I repeat the steps to make you understand the concept. 5 plus 5, it will be 10. I think it's so trivial. Okay, for the last question, as you see here, I think it's so easy. This one, look here. This rational function in which the denominator is non-polynomial, in this case, we redefine the function by conjugate. That is the first thing I'll say, but I have to follow the instruction, the steps. Okay, the first one, substitute, it will be 4 minus 4 here, square root 2, 4, it will be 2 minus 2, it will be 0 over 0, undetermined. Redefine the function because the limit exists, but I need to write the function in another form. This case, look with me here, x minus 4, the given function, I'll put the given function as you see, then multiply both numerator and denominator by the conjugate of the non-polynomial, which is here the denominator. The conjugate, it means square root x, the state of management, over square root x plus 2. Okay. As I told you many times, I wrote step 3 here because I don't have enough space for step 2. The first two expression, when we multiply x minus 4 and the square root plus 2, they are not conjugate to each other. I keep them as a product. Look here, x, as I told you. But I multiply only the expression and its conjugate, which means squaring the first value, which is x, minus squaring the second, it will be 4. In this case, we have get nuance. Two brackets are like, cancel. So what is the redefining function? Plus 2. Limit, third step, the limit of the redefining, the given function f of x. When x approaches 4, it will be limit. Square root is redefining. When x approaches what? 4, it will be 2 plus square root 4, 2 plus 2, it will be 4. I think it's so trivial. Okay? Let's solve the next question. Here, let f of x when x approaches 2 equal 9. Okay? Limit g of x when x approaches to the same value, x, negative 4. Find the limit of f of x minus g of x when x approaches to 2. In this case, it means the limit of f of x minus limit g of x. It will be 9 minus, what is the limit of this one? Negative 4. So it will be 13. I gave you a definition before, limit this one, it's so trivial, it will be what? 2 over 5, the coefficient here over coefficient. Okay, inshallah, later I'll show you how we get this result. Okay, for the last question, I think it's so trivial. Step 1, step 2, step 3, it's so easy. Okay, step 1, replace, it will be 0, 0, it will be 8. That's right? Maybe I don't need step 2 and 3. If we replace 0, 0, okay, so it will be 8 over 0, negative 2. So the result it will be, since we got number that is my limit, so the limit equal what? Negative 4, and I will not need to step 2 and 3. If we get number, the limit it will be this number. I think it's trivial. That is why it is very important, it's very important to substitute first. Maybe I will not need the other steps. For page 3, okay, by the same way, substitute first. Maybe I will get number, it will be 100 minus 110 plus 10 over negative 10 plus 10, it will be 0 over 0. Oh, in this case I have to continue. The limit exists. Okay, it will be what? X, X. Okay? Plus 10, okay, plus 1. X plus 10, I think it's right. This one 10, 11, yes, sure. You can use your calculator. Cancel the common factor, it will be x plus 1, that is the new. Page 3, limit f of x when x approaches negative 10, it will be limit the redefining function when x approaches what? Negative 10. It will be negative 10 plus 1, it will be negative 9. I hope you understand. I hope you understand. Clear or not clear? It's so trivial, okay? For the following, I think it's so easy, this one also. Here, limit any number, it will be the same number that is from the properties of limit. The limit of any constant, it will be this constant. Replace first. If we get number, it will be limit. Square root 5 minus 2, it will be square root 3. This one I replace first, as I told you before, it will be 25 minus 25 over negative 5 plus 5, it will be 0 over 0, undetermined. In this mean I have to continue the other 2 steps. Redefine the function in this case, as I told you before, by factorizing, because we have kind of polynomial and the others one. Minus 5, x, I don't have any common factors, that is why I start to factorize x plus 5. Cancel this common, it will be x minus 5. Limit of the given function f of x when x approaches negative 5, it will be replaced in the negative 5 minus 5, it will be negative 10. Okay? Yeah. Okay, I hope you understand. Now, the last question I'll solve for this session, in this session, just replace, it will be, replace, it will be negative 3 over negative 3 plus 3, it will be negative 3 over 0, undefined value. So, limit does not exist. Thank you for joining the session. Please, I hope you understand everything. I'll record another session to complete the revision sheet. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.